The last few weeks have really been difficult, with 14 straight days of 100-degree plus temperatures, and you're pretty much trapped indoors. Even doing things in the mornings becomes difficult when at 8 o'clock it was already 85 degrees and climbing. The veggies were struggling, and some quickly began to go to seed, which has been more than frustrating. So I decided to do things that didn't require a long time outside, like preparing the garden for fall planting. The loofah have been one of the few plants not bothered by the extreme heat, and the last round of planting has begun to take off, while the one from the first round is producing fruit. It makes sense at this point to put in new string for the growth. Since we started getting afternoon rain to cool things off, the vines have begun to climb their new support. The tomatoes, too, have been hanging on, so I've let the suckers grow and begun rooting them and basil in water. In a couple of weeks I can put them out for a fall growing season without as much heat. Making salsa will have to come later than usual this year. It's been so hot that even plants that should do well in hot weather have struggled. My okra put out a little fruit that I am now saving to use as seeds in a fall round of planting. They may not get as many hours of sunlight, but I think they will be fine. We'll have to see. The bell peppers, too, seem to be enjoying the rain-cooled afternoons and begun to produce a few bell peppers. Not much to do there, but provide nutrients. But I do have a few seedlings that I will set out in a little while. Even the eggplants are beginning to show a little life. I started out with 4, and I'm now down to this one hardy soul. It seems to be taking off, so I won't complain. The sweet potatoes, like the loofah, have been unfazed by the heat, and all I need to do with them is keep stringing out the vines over the string trellis I made for them. Their progress has been nothing short of amazing. Another small victory. I just got tired of trying to root out mulberry cuttings and decided to just throw them in water and see what happens. The I don't care strategy seems to be working because I notice leaves forming on one stem, and a couple of the others are still alive. The mulberry bush may go to the ball after all. Then, I've been saying for the longest time that I would move the banana plants out of their container, and now was a good time. I already had the fence pickets that I picked up before the air conditioner dying episode, so all I needed to do was cut them to size. My electrical wiring is underground, so I can't dig in the backyard, but I got the idea to set up a shallow bed and let the banana roots find their own way down deeper. So that means off to the workshop to build the bed. I want the banana plant bed to be 5 feet long and 2 feet wide, so the plants will each have almost a foot of space. The bed will be shallow, so I only need 2 long boards, front and back. The height will be 12 inches, so I'm cutting corner studs 13 inches long to give a little room to anchor the bed into the ground. In no time, I had the front and back boards cut and ready to attach to the corner studs. All I had to do was lay down the corner studs and attach the boards. Once the boards were nailed into place for the front and back, I could then come back and do my favorite chore, pilot holes, to prevent the wood splitting, followed by using screws to make the holes solid. With the two long sides done, I leaned them against my drum sander to keep them upright so I could attach the two front ends. I nailed in the top section first to keep the frame stable so I could come back and screw the top board in place on both ends to make it easier to work on. With the bed now standing on its own, I could finish off the project by putting in the lower end portion. And there I had my banana bed planter. However, because the bed is so long, I wanted to put in middle stakes to prevent the middle expanding. I marked the boards I plan to use as stakes and use a jigsaw to create a point. All I needed to do now was move it into the backyard. I didn't need to put down any cardboard because I wanted the banana roots to go into the ground as quickly as possible. Then came hammering the stakes into the ground. I'll come back later and attach the frame to the stakes. With all that done, it was now time to separate the banana plants and put them in the bed. Roots were everywhere. I needed to use a spade and a knife to cut the plants from the mother root. I placed each one where it would have a little space to let its roots spread out. With all the plants placed, I simply had to empty their container into the bed and then add a little compost, followed by topsoil to give the roots enough soil to begin spreading out in ground. The mother root was pretty surprising because rather than a plant, it was simply a mound that had sent out roots to create the 6 banana plants I now have. I think I moved those plants just in time because the plants were becoming root bound. These are just some of the roots I found. I'm glad I moved them, and the cooling afternoon rain should help them settle in just fine. See you next time.